Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Young men, are you good enough looking to get married? This is a part of a series called Why Young Men Should Date a Filipina. And, looks is something that comes up once in a while on both sides. So I wanted to talk about that today. If you think that you're not going to be able to find somebody because, you aren't good looking enough, well, don't give up. Have your looks caused you to stop looking for someone? And who's telling you, how you look anyway? The fact that you are single does not mean that you are not good looking enough for a woman, even though it certainly might feel that way. I think we've all been through that. I mean, take a look around you. There's a lot of men that look a lot of different ways, and they marry women that look a lot of different ways, and eventually we can still find somebody. It's easy to be too self-conscious about this, and women in the West, might put a bit of an emphasis on having good looks, but I'm here to tell you there's something else. The Philippines, a place of natural beauty and beautiful women where you can always see the sun day and, I got off target there thinking about a Prince song that you may not even be aware of. Women in the West might make you go crazy, but Filipinas are much less so inclined. That's where I met my wife in the Philippines back in 2015. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea. I like to try to help men, especially young men, not give up on trying to get married. And of course, comments are always welcome here. This is a series what we called Why Young Men Should Date a Filipina, and the YouTube playlist called Young Men in Filipinas is where it will be stored. So getting to looks, they're not the highest priority to a woman from the Philippines. Character is important. Loyalty is up there. Being a good provider, those are much more important to most any woman than looks are, especially, I think, in the Philippines. I met my wife on Christian Filipina. By the way, if you check the testimonial section there, you'll see, about how good looking you have to be in order to get married. Like I said, look around you. Filipinas are looking for a husband. If you're living in the West, looks may very well be a sizable factor for a young woman looking for a young man, and sometimes it seems like it's more important than anything else. But we should be reminded that appearances change over time, as does the ability to do the things we used to, the way we used to do them, even the way we think. Now, you might disagree, but I feel that looks to women is not as important as it is to men, despite how society comes off sometimes. Just because looks are likely important to us as men, we shouldn't assume it's that way with a woman, just because that may have been our experience for as long as we can remember. What is attractive to a woman, we'll continue here with things like kindness, compassion, work ethic, positive attitude, being a good listener, ability to lead and make decisions, being unselfish, stable, could be education for some. That's very important. Ability to smile, they say, is important. Now, I didn't smile for the first time until I was about 40, so that might have hurt my chances a little bit. They like a man who can have a good conversation with them. Sense of humor comes up a lot. Somebody can be forgiving, somebody that's gentle, so on. Things like this, that if a person does these things, they're going to look more attractive to a woman. But you say, where is the money? Like you may have heard, no money, no honey. Well, this video is about if you are good looking enough to get married. You'll say, but look at those average to below average, musicians, ball players, whatever, who have hot wives. And I would agree that being able to provide a substantial standard of living is not a bad thing, but those marriages are not lasting without other things like character. Now, some might disagree, but I don't exactly consider myself Robert Redford in his time. But I got married to my Filipino wife in 2015 after almost giving up hope of ever getting married. She didn't ask for money before we got married, or even after we got married while we were going through that spousal visa wait to get her here. She has worked here in the United States almost as soon as she arrived, and she's done a remarkable job in the workforce, making Filipinos proud to be represented by someone amazing like her. And while she may have been dazzled by my looks, what meant the most was what I seemed to have, and like integrity and someone she could trust, someone that would be honest with her. But she needed to find out by first spending copious amounts of time online with me before we met in person. We got married very quickly, but we were talking about 4 hours a day. I get the impression other women in the Philippines also want a man with integrity, and they do want younger men. They most certainly do. I know some people assume it's just an older man's game, so to speak, but it's not if the younger men, start getting in touch with them, like I did, on the website Christian Filipina. So I think that women just in the Philippines are not as picky about looks as Western women. Having said that, unless you look like Frankenstein, you have a chance to find love beyond the sea.